Let me make something clear. This video isn't about revenge. It's about power. The kind of power that comes when you finally stop letting a narcissist control your emotions. Because the truth is, the most painful thing you can ever do to a narcissist isn't to yell, argue, or expose them. It's to live free from their grip, to be so grounded, so unbothered that their games fall flat. That's what really tortures them, losing the power they once had over your mind. So today, we're going to talk about 5 ways to mentally and emotionally break free. The kind of freedom that drives a narcissist absolutely insane. Narcissists feed on reaction. Every argument, every tear, every emotional response. It's fuel for their ego. They don't want love. They want control. And the moment you stop feeding them your energy, they panic. Silence terrifies a narcissist because it means you're no longer playing their game. It means they've lost their power to provoke you. When you go silent, you're doing something far more powerful than revenge. You're reclaiming your peace. They will try everything to break that silence. Guilt trips, fake apologies, even rage. But every time you respond calmly, every time you refuse to explain yourself, you remind them that their manipulation no longer works. Psychologically, this shift changes everything. You stop being their emotional supplier and start being their biggest fear, someone they can't control. Your silence speaks volumes. It says, "You no longer matter enough to disturb my peace." That realization destroys their illusion of dominance. So the next time you're tempted to argue or prove your worth, don't. Your silence is not weakness, it's power. And for a narcissist, that power is unbearable. Because nothing tortures them more than realizing the person they once controlled has finally walked away without a sound. A narcissist tests lines constantly because every crossed line is proof they can shape your world. So stop treating boundaries like polite requests and start treating them like non-negotiable laws of your life. Say no once and mean it. Block contact when needed. And don't answer the calls that are only drama dressed up as apology. Refuse the midnight explanations, the slow drip of manipulation, the just this once, exceptions that become habits. Your boundary isn't a suggestion. It's the map that shows you where safety begins and where their influence ends. When you enforce a boundary, you're doing 3 things at once. You protect your energy. You teach the narcissist their behavior has consequences, and you rebuild your internal voice that's been trained to shrink. That voice has been practicing absence for too long. It needs real exercises. Start small if you must. A missed text that you don't answer. A plan you keep even when they threaten drama. And let each small victory thicken your spine. These tiny refusals add up. They rewire the reflex that used to rush to soothe or explain. Now the reflex becomes, am I safe? No. Then I do not engage. Psychology isn't on their side when you consistently enforce boundaries. Narcissists rely on inconsistent responses to stay in control. Consistency removes their playground. They escalate, then calm, then escalate again, looking for the crack. Don't give it to them. When they push, respond with the same steady line every time. No lectures, no justifications, just the boundary enforced in calm. Boundaries are not coldness. They're self-respect, and self-respect is a form of defiance. Wear it proudly. Every time you protect your edge, you strip another weapon from their arsenal and teach yourself that your peace is worth protecting. Without apology, a narcissist thrives in emotional chaos. It's their playground. The more they can make you react, the more alive they feel. Every argument, every tear, every attempt to explain yourself gives them one thing: control. But when you detach, truly detach, their entire game collapses because they can't play with someone who's no longer playing. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop participating in the illusion. You begin to see them for what they are, not a powerful force, but a person driven by insecurity, fear, and the desperate need to feel important. The moment you stop needing their approval, their validation, or even their understanding, you become untouchable. They lose the one lever they've always used against you, your emotions. At first, detachment feels unnatural. You'll want to defend yourself, to prove your point, to show them they're wrong. But that's exactly the trap. The moment you start explaining, you're back in the loop. True detachment is quiet strength. It's the calm smile when they provoke you. It's walking away from an argument knowing that silence will hurt them more than any words ever could. From a psychological standpoint, detachment shifts the balance of power. It trains your brain to respond, not react. Narcissists feed on emotional volatility. It's how they maintain dominance. But when your mood no longer bends to theirs, when your peace stays intact no matter what they say or do, they lose their grip. You're not ignoring them out of spite. You're choosing yourself. You're protecting your sanity, your dignity, your inner stillness. Because the real power isn't in fighting a narcissist. It's in refusing to be controlled by one. Detachment is freedom, and once you master it, they can't touch you. Not your mind, not your peace, not your soul. A narcissist's world runs on chaos. They crave emotional reactions the way others crave air. If you're calm, grounded, and unbothered, you become their biggest nightmare. Because peace starves them. It denies them the drama they feed on, the constant validation that tells them they still matter in your life. When you're at peace, they're forced to face something they can't handle, their own emptiness. Peace is power disguised as stillness. It's waking up and not checking your phone for their messages. It's walking away from the argument that used to ruin your entire day. It's choosing silence instead of shouting, calm instead of chaos, detachment instead of reaction. And while they might accuse you of being cold, distant, or heartless, what you're really doing is healing. You're learning that not every battle needs your energy. Psychologically, peace throws them off balance. Narcissists are addicted to control, and when you no longer provide an emotional response, they lose the script. They'll try harder at first, guilt trips, fake kindness, emotional outbursts, anything to shake you. But if you stay centered, they start to crumble under their own instability. Your peace becomes a mirror, reflecting their inner turmoil. They can't stand that reflection because it forces them to see what they've spent years running from, their own lack of control. This is why peace feels sadistic to them. It's not cruelty, it's consequence. Your calm becomes the wall their chaos crashes against. Every time you smile instead of react, every time you protect your peace instead of defending your pain, they lose a piece of the power they once had. Keep choosing peace. It's not weakness, it's strategy. It's quiet revenge through growth. Because the moment you stop fighting, stop explaining, stop reacting, that's the moment you win. And the most powerful kind of victory is peace that drives your enemy insane. The ultimate revenge is rebuilding yourself into someone they can never touch again. Revenge sounds violent in their mouth, but here's the truth: the deepest, cleanest victory isn't a scheme. It's transformation. When you rebuild, you don't set traps or plot payback. You become a life so full and a mind so steady that their tactics simply collect dust. Start by sharpening your boundaries into habits, not rules that bend when guilt arrives. Invest in your mornings, your body, your friendships, and the small rituals that stitch your self-respect back together. Those are the bricks of a life they can't invade. Rebuilding is practical work, learning to trust your instincts again, saying no without apologizing, pursuing goals that have nothing to do with pleasing them. It's therapy, late-night journaling, a gym routine that reminds you of your strength, or a new skill that demands your focused attention. Each action rewires your brain away from their voice and toward your own. That neurological shift is the real punishment for a narcissist. They relied on a predictable you. They didn't prepare for someone who evolves. Emotionally, rebuilding is radical kindness to yourself mixed with relentless discipline. You forgive yourself for past softness and then refuse to repeat it. You celebrate small wins and let them accumulate until confidence is no longer fragile, but permanent. Narcissists dread that because they can't bait a steady person, their drama dies for lack of supply. So don't waste energy plotting hurt. Spend it constructing an unassailable life. The result isn't cruelty, it's justice in motion. Your flourishing becomes proof that their power was always borrowed and temporarily rented. And when you walk into rooms full of light, purpose, and peace, that silent, unannounced victory will sting them worse than any shout ever could. You owe it to yourself to break free, not just from them, but from the version of you that kept trying to fix what was never yours to fix. You've seen what happens when you hand your power away. Now imagine what happens when you take it back. Let this be your turning point. No more explaining, no more chasing, no more shrinking. You are not their supply. You are your own source of peace, purpose, and power. If this message hit home, it's because deep down you already know it's time. So take a breath, stand tall, and start building the life they can never interrupt again. And if you're ready to keep growing stronger, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Because here, we don't just talk about healing, we live it. Stay strong, stay grounded, and I'll see you in the next video.